Do you also think that naturists like to gawk at people, that naturists are show-offs, or that they just want to have sex on the beach? Well, you're wrong. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you why. We are Nick and Linz. For the last 5 years, we have been traveling to some of the most amazing naturist places on the planet. And now we embarked on an epic journey to experience naturism in every continent of the world. Subscribe and travel along with us. Right now we are in Australia. This video has been sponsored by the Australian Naturist Federation. They are our main resource for information about naturism in Australia and a great place for Australian naturists to connect and share advice.
We are on a nude beach and it seems like we have been inspiring you to go to nude beaches too, because lately we have been receiving so many messages from people who tried naturism or nude beaches for the first time thanks to our videos.
Which is super cool.
And we're also receiving quite a lot of questions about how to behave. So for a while we thought about making a video about the naturist etiquette, but we thought that it would be just so boring. Until yesterday. Our plan for today is to shoot some images of kangaroos on the beach. So we came to Muramarang National Park, which is said to be the place to be in Australia for this. I read that it's almost impossible not to see kangaroos on the beach here. But what we're seeing here is really Australia in a nutshell. There's beach and there's kangaroos. Beach, kangaroos. How funny is this?
The way they are standing there and looking at us reminds me of a nude beach somewhere in Brazil. It's just a handful of guys staring and looking at us like, what? Kangaroos stare, but people don't. So if you are on the nude beach, please don't stare at people. It's okay to have a look around and to look at the scenery and try to make contact with the people who are on the beach, but just don't stare.
So that's rule number one. But rule number two is actually rule number one in naturism. And it's always sit on something. And the main reason for that is hygiene. You just don't want to exchange sweat and body liquids with other people. Do we have footage of that?
And maybe even more important than hygiene is the comfort. Most materials are just not comfortable to sit on. I mean, plastic sticks to your butt, wood splinters, metal gets hot. Do I need to continue?
Yeah, please do.
Sand gets into places where you don't want sand to be. Rocks, they scratch. Pebbles are hard, and sometimes they also get into places where you don't want pebbles to be. The only thing that is comfortable is fabric, but I mean your own fabric. When we're talking about somebody else's fabric, then we're talking about hygiene again.
It's funny how they have these very long hind legs and then these very short front legs. And also their tail, it's really like in the cartoons. It's used to balance themselves when they are standing up. If they wouldn't have a tail, they would just fall over, I think. I'm pretty sure. Next item on the list is don't show off. Of course you're going to a nude beach to be naked, and of course you don't have to hide nudity. But that doesn't mean that you have to rub it into people's faces, as a matter of speaking. So when you have the space, try to keep some distance from the other beachgoers. When you're close to people, try to not give them the full moon or the spread eagle or whatever. Just be a little bit polite. It's common sense, and it's not that different as if you would be wearing a bathing suit. Just use your common sense.
Let's talk about pictures. In the early days, a lot of resorts and nude beaches, they had a very strict no taking picture policy. And that's normal, right? Because you don't want to take a picture with somebody else on it naked.
That's actually a point for the kangaroos, because I don't think I've ever seen a kangaroo with a camera.
But nowadays, everybody has a smartphone with a camera on it, and it's normal that you want to take pictures because you are on holiday or you just discovered this beautiful nude beach and you want to take a picture of it. But just be cautious when you are taking pictures or taking video that nobody else is on it.
If you notice that the angle of this camera had slightly turned, that's actually because there was a naked person behind us.
not very social.
You would think that they would get used to humans when they are spending their time on the beach. And they do. They don't mind us. They do let us come quite close, but as soon as we get too close, they run off.
And they stink. But I'm not sure that it's because of the amount of poop that I'm literally standing in, or that it's just them. Maybe we just need to take one into Wilma de Van and see if they really stink. The kangaroos didn't seem to like me very much.
But they did like each other. They hang around in groups all the time. They seem to be very social animals. And so are naturists. Like naturists on the beach, they talk to each other, they say hello, or most of the times. And it's perfectly normal just to walk up to people and have a chat. But of course also this requires a little sense of human feelings to feel whether people are willing to talk or whether they just come to the beach to chill, to have a nap, to read a book. And then on the other hand of the social spectrum is the next rule. No sex on the beach. And that's also one where kangaroos are supposed to fail, because we heard that they have a lot of sex.
Come on. Hanky panky, hanky panky, hanky panky. You can do it. You can do it, dude. Believe in you. How long do you really need me to sit here? I think it's not gonna happen, obviously.
It would have been so funny if we actually got shots of kangaroos having sex, but what are the odds? Well, we'll probably find them on the internet. We've said it before, we are humans, we are not kangaroos, so we keep those things for behind closed doors. And with the beach, we also mean the dunes. You know, we get it. Having sex in the dunes can be exciting, but it can also cause a lot of problems for the naturist community. Several times before have nude beaches been closed because there was too much going on in the dunes. So maybe you should just do it in the dunes of a textile beach. Just don't say that we said this. Now what I think is the most important rule of them all, just enjoy life.
That's not an actual rule.
Well, it should be.
We just bought some oysters because this is the oyster region, but we forgot to buy a knife. How's it going?
It takes a while. This is van life at its best. Drinking wine out of plastic cups and opening oysters with tools to repair your van.
So to quickly summarize, don't be a kangaroo if you go to naturist places or nude beaches or whatever. Just be human.
We hope that these tips were helpful to you in one way or another. And maybe we will run into you in one of the nude beaches where we are going. Like one in Sydney, for example, because that is where we are going next. But that's gonna be for our next video, so if you don't want to miss that,
put your kangaroo claws on the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give us a big fat thumbs up, and we just see you in our next video. Bye!
bye.